Alright, welcome back to another league race. This time we're with DNS. This time we are in USA for the US Grand Prix, and dry race, dry qualifying, as you can see, so that's a good sign to start. This was one of my favourite tracks in F1 2017. Little less so in this game, but still really satisfying for me to drive. Heading into qualifying, I felt confident enough. I kind of did some practice and kind of knew what to expect from the track and the tyres. Run a bit wide there just as I was finishing my lap. We would have done a 32.4 or 6 rather. We invalidated it. Didn't make the same mistake this time. Run across the line on softs. Take provisional pole of 32.2. So good lap there. I knew kind of what I was doing heading into this race. So I was knowing's half the battle, isn't it, at the end of the day. Here we are though, coming at the end of qualifying on our super run. We're going to go for a lap of Kota, so heading up the hill, going to knock it into high deployment, and we're going to run with high deployment for the rest of basically a lot of this first sector. Just try and get the best exit you can out of the first corner. Try and hug that line if you can. Curbs aren't too bad there, and fling yourself through the exits. Take the curb. Definitely try and take the curb. I lost a little bit of time there. It wasn't as fluid as I wanted, but then take the curb again here. I missed a little bit of it. You can do it though. Try to avoid that curb a bit as much as you can. I short shifted to help kind of keep the car stable, but it does like to kick. The car does like to kick out if you get up on that curb too much and then heavy braking. Then do I go down to? I did go down to first here just for a little bit of extra rotation on the car. Into hot lap now, as we have been since heading down the hill. We can go hot lap the rest of the way here on this lap after that. So again, charging down the straight, heavy braking. You can knock it down to first for a little bit extra rotation. I do that. I go up to fifth. You can probably leave it in fourth. Again, try and get on the power as soon as you can. A little bit of a short shift to get yourself up to speed. And again, into this corner. I drift a bit wide. I actually went wider than you would have wanted to be fair. So this lap hasn't been perfect, as you can see. But I'm going to keep with it. Nice triple right-hander. And then these last two corners are really important. Get the curb there. Run a bit out as you can. I absolutely nailed that and take the curb on this one. I missed the apex a bit, so I left a good bit of time on the table here on this lap. It was going to be a 31.6, and I didn't want to take. I was happy enough with that lap. I knew kind of what the situation was around me, so I left it. I retired after that, or I came back into the pit at the end of that lap. Adam Mako good lap at the second, and Joe Corby on the ultras goes into provisional pole. So good lap from Joe on ultras. So then came Scuba, and would Scuba improve? I had heard that he wasn't going to do as well on that lap. He had messed up the S section, so he really couldn't really find much of an improvement, and starts in fifth on the super. So ultras you want to try and avoid. They don't last long around this track. If you can get into lap 8, fair play, but a tough one for sure in terms of temperature. So there you go, we're going to start second. The highest of the super soft runners. Really good lap from Adam Mako there to get himself into third ahead of Dan. And then Dark Balls on softs was interesting. He was an interestingly placed car in this race. So anyways, that is qualifying. We're going to try now, and well, the thing was, I knew that the ultras were a bad tyre, and I knew that if I could get by Joe quickly, that would really help. So if I was stuck behind him, I wouldn't. That wouldn't be good. But we're going to start the race here. A little bit, knock a bit of fuel back. Lap 11 or lap 10, you want to try and get the. You can get these supers too. So, anyways, then here we go. Then 5 red lights, and away we go. I get a good start. Much better start than Joe would have. Than he should have got on ultras. Overtake mode. I'm going for the move into turn 1. I want to get this move done down the inside. We're going to run side by side through the first few corners. I implored Joe to try and back out, because this could have been an accident in the making. I had the race in line, and he does back out of it. You have to break those first few laps or so, really, or most of the race actually, through that S section. You need to downshift as well. So anyways, get up onto that curb a bit, and I want to try and stretch the lead as quickly as I could. Look, this first stint is really important. What you do on this first stint, tyre management is absolutely essential. If you push on these supers, they will go quickly. I did a practice session earlier in the day, or I think it was last night or the other night before, and I pushed, and lap 5, and these things were these rears were gone on these supers. You have to be careful. See, you're going to stick it into low and lean. You need to do this, I think, well for me, I need to do this through this section of the track. It was really, really important to do it, to keep the rears, the temperature of the rears, and I'm running brake pressures tire pressures are all the way at the bottom. So it is just about the tires on this track. You need to keep the wheel spin as low as you can through the rears. You got short shift as well. So to anything you can do to help the tires, you need to do. So again, even though you want to be like, probably Joe's running like rich and high or medium or whatever. For the straights, I knocked it up to medium and such, and high and overtake. But you have to be so careful how you manage these tires. It's so important. You need to get the life out of these tires for as long as you can. Lap 3, DRS has now been enabled. I'm running overtake. Joe is going to try and look to get by. I stick to the right hand side, let him have it. I go to low and lean. He cooks his braking, heading into that corner, so we get a chance to fight this back again. I'm not going to go to high or overtake or anything like that. I'm going to stick to low and lean to help the tires as much as I can, because these need to go 10 or so laps, 9 or 10 laps. And so again, I'm not going to going to go up to medium on this occasion just for a little bit, but keeping the fuel mixture in lean, really, really important to manage this first stint. I'm not pushing at all on this first stint. Apart from the first lap or two, you really need to take care of your tires. And you could push if you want on the second stint, but this first stint, it's about management. You need to be able to take these tires. So heading on to lap 4. Is Joe going to go for an overtake? No, he's not. So again, look at that, we're going to lean, and we're going to go into standard then as we exit the corner. So just really picking your spots and having to manage. Later that lap, again, Joe's going to come. He has the ultras, which should be dying off at this stage, but he has got DRS. Again, I've not been pushing. I've been looking to manage it. I don't even go up to medium or high or anything like that, because I knew, like, regardless, he was going to fly by with DRS there, so I let him go. Low and lean again. He's going to miss his braking point again. Like, absolutely misses that one by an absolute mile. So again, I don't really want to fight, but his mistakes are kind of forcing me to do so. I'm not going to try. If I can get an empty track ahead of me, I would like that. But it keeps Dan, it keeps Dartbolt, it keeps Scuba close behind as well. So heading through then the long right hander, I had to back off the throttle a bit. I'm going to let him go then. So he's got the move done, and again, it's about the long game. You see the tire pressure getting closer to 103, 104. They begin to go. These supers are 103 degrees. After that, it's all downhill really from there. If you can save them, save them. It's tough to get them back afterwards. But Joe then a little bit of a wobble heading up the hill, but just going to file in. So he's going to take the effective race lead for now. But heading on to lap 5, then I got DRS. And I'm going to breeze by. I want to go for this move. I want to say, okay, this is the time the ultras are beginning to go off. I want to get this move done. I don't want to be behind him when he maybe loses the back end coming out of a corner or has issues and slows me up through a section. I decided that this was the time I had to fight for that position. So didn't push a lot to do it. It was just picking and choosing your spots. But I decided that lap was like, yep, I have this. That's when I will fight. So just knowing your battles, choosing your spots, I think is really big. And I think he's going to pit this lap, to be fair. And he does. Lap 6, Dan Morris is coming at me now as well. You can see the tyres getting a little bit more kind of heated in the right. I want to try and defend this one from Dan, because we were on similar strategies. We both did practice. We knew kind of what the story was with this track. And he's going to get the DRS. He's going to take the lead again, low and lean. Can't stress that enough in this first stint. You need to protect those tyres. Otherwise, you will lose a lot of time. I almost hit the back of him there, so that was scary for a moment. But thankfully, that would have ruined my race actually if I had done that. But thankfully, it didn't hit him. So at this point, then, so Joe's pitted at this stage. I think he pitted for another set of ultras, I believe. You want to try and do a one-stop here if you can. There is certain advantage to be had in a two-stop, but you really need to be faster than the other drivers to make that work against someone who's similarly paced. It's not really going to work. So anyways, I'm going to settle in then to second for the time being. Here's the thing, this is where the strategy begins to kick up. The softs are a very good tyre here. I did a practice session. Again, it's all about practice. It's just knowing the track, knowing the tyres is a big thing here. It's just big in general. Understanding what is possible. I did a practice session beforehand, and the softs pitted lap 10 on these supers for the softs, and they easily went to the end. I knew that the pace was going to be very, very similar between myself and Dan for the second stint of the race, as it is now. So I thought, okay, the softs I knew could easily go more than 10 laps. I'm going to go for an undercut, and I'm going to pit now. These supers can go more, they could go further, but I want to get an undercut because I know the softs are a very good tyre and they will get me to the end of the race, and they can give me the separation I need between myself and Dan with this undercut. So here we go then. Soft tyres for the end of the race. I am asking 20 laps out of them. It's a lot to ask, but I know they're well capable of doing it. So temperatures with the softs are not an issue. So see, Scuba sets the fastest lap time on softs, so he's played a few laps earlier than I did. So we emerge into 5th place. There's Joe ahead on the sorry, he's on supers, isn't he? Or he's on, I can't see if he's on super. So, but it didn't last very well for him. So anyways, lap 4, I think Adam Mackle's going to come into the pits then, ditch his supers, and so we're getting these softs up to temperature. Scuba I think is 3.1. He is 3.1 seconds behind. So lap 10, Joe's again. This is the thing. Like, Joe pushed on his supers, absolutely cooked them. They pitted lap 5, 6, and by lap 10, look, he's pitted and his supers are absolutely dead. That's why you have to be so careful about what you do on those tires. So anyways, I get by Joe. Dan asked him if he could try and hold me up a little bit of team orders, but he didn't have the tires to fight. So anyways, Dan's still in front, lap 11. So I think at this stage, Dan, I think he wanted to just try and not overcut me, but kind of use the tires to his advantage, go fresher, and hope that it would be enough to catch me later on. But they're pumping in purple sectors. Lap 11, Dan pits that lap, and then I'm going to come across and set the fastest lap of the race, and I'm going to clear him by at least 5 or so seconds. So putting 5 seconds of separation between myself and Dan was huge. I could, like, being the car behind, I wanted to dictate the strategy if I was behind Dan early on, but even if I was in front, I would have pitted lap 8 or 9. I don't know if he would have reacted to me, but being behind gave me a position where he couldn't react to me. So it's 7.8 seconds behind Darkbolt, who's on the soft. So Darkbolt's going long into this race. He's going to be on supers near the end, so it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. Lap 16, he does make his stops. He's on supers. The gap behind me is 5.3 seconds to Dan. So I knew he had penalties as well. I had one warning at this stage as well, so I had to be careful of that. But lap at 20, then Darkbolt is now into 3rd place on the supers, 5.7 seconds. See, this is the thing. Like, this is what I was saying. That gap, we pitted. That gap was 5.7-ish seconds for so much of this race, and that's why I knew, like, the pace is going to be so similar. I had to try and get some sort of separation, otherwise it's going to be a really intense race, and I managed to do so. Lap 24, the gap is 3.7 seconds. Here's the thing, I got a second warning through the S section, and my confidence was knocked a bit. I had to be careful. It was all about managing the race, but in the last lap or two, my tyres did begin to go. So last lap, lap 28, the thing that worked out for me was I had enough of a gap behind me to where I could afford this to happen, like, in a sense that this happened and it wasn't too big of a deal. See how careful I'm being not to pick up a penalty. I don't want to pick up a penalty in any circumstances in this race. So looking back at the race, I could have pitted lap 9 and I think it would have been okay. So, but I had confidence in the tyres that they could go the distance, and I was out by a lap or 2. So I still think you could pit lap 9 and they'd go to the end fine. The wear at this stage does begin to rack up. I think I had 60% on the wear. So a lap or 2 and they would have been fine. But I wanted to get the undercut. I wanted to create separation between myself, Dan, and Darkbolt. To be fair, it was really interesting to see the strategy. The strategy didn't work for him in terms of actually getting the race win, but it would have worked out for him in terms of he jumped everyone else doing the softs and supers, but he had like 15 seconds worth of penalties, so he's going to ruin his race that way. Coming through the triple right-hander for the last time. Pole position, didn't get that, but executed the first stint really well. You can see how with you can see with Joe what happened on later on as we crossed the line to win in USA. You can see what happened with Joe on the supers, how he pushed them and he cooked them very quickly. That's what I didn't want to do. That's what Dan didn't want to do. So we weren't really pushing that first stint. Dan got ahead of me in the first stint. I used that as an advantage to go into the pits early. Whether he would have responded or not to my undercut or to my early pit stop had I done it, or was I in front, not sure, but I knew the softs were a very good tire. They could have easily gone the distance. The separation I did gain through the undercut, and that was it. That was the difference in the end, just getting that undercut, that separation with the soft tire. The pace was very even, and so happy to get that win. It wasn't easy by any means, but made it work. Didn't get penalties, and there you go then. 7 seconds the margin in the end. Fair play to Scuba finishing in third. Scuba's taking a step back from league racing in general, so look, wish him the best. Hoping things will progress in that regard, in the regard that obviously you would know, but just want to look at the lap times here. Very consistent in the 36s. I would have liked to be in the 35s, but oh well. 36s consistently, and then obviously the last two laps were a bit off there because the tyres went. But that's going to do it for round number whatever this is of DNS. Next up is Mexico. Until next time.